today's video, we're going to talk about all things Hogwarts Legacy game mechanics and a bunch of other secret finds that have been potentially found and some other things that could be possible, so stick around to the end because I got a ton to talk about in this video. Now first up, we actually do have something cool, and it's just kind of neat. You'll be able to pet the cats that are around Hogwarts. Now it seems like these cats are unique, so there are a bunch of different variants that people have posted and kind of showcased, so I want to show those off here. But it is kind of nice, and that little tiny detail is very immersion and world building, and it just goes to show the actual quality that they can put into the game. And when you see things like Forspoken recently, I don't think you were able to pet the cat at the beginning. I didn't watch much farther than that, but it just seems like that shows the lack of quality, and it does, in the entire world itself, it does really show that the world was lacking quality. And so it's just nice to know that they took the time to build these tiny little details, even if it's just like petting a cat or something simple that a lot of people either will or won't engage in, and it's just nice to have that there. So I think that that's kind of neat. Now for other creatures as like dogs and stuff, I'm not sure if that's going to be present, but it does seem like people were able to find certain cats around, so that's kind of neat. Now I also wanted to talk about this video that was posted to Reddit. I don't know the source of this, so I'm just going to leave credit to the guy that posted it, and hopefully I get updated on it or whatever, and I'll update that. Okay, but getting onto the video itself. Now this video overall is just showing every mechanic, so there is included the swimming portion, which has already been talked about a ton of times, but we know that's there. There's also vaulting, and then, of course, the ability to ride a broom. But it looks like we have like a little mini game here. I do know that we're talked about a little bit, but it is nice to see kind of footage of one. Now I do wonder if there's any like thievery with it, or if this is like unlocking a chest, or if this is just part of a specific quest. I do wonder if there will be a thievery mechanic or anything of that nature. I know people said that a lot of the themes are tamed down because these are technically like high schoolers, but it still would be kind of cool to do some thievery stuff like that, like it is in Skyrim, where you can go up and just pick anything. I wonder if this is like a lockpick thing, or if this is just more of one of those mini games on the side where you have to be able to complete it for either a class or a quest or whatever it is. I do want to mention really quick, we do have a spoiler here, so if you don't want to see this part, you can skip ahead like 25 seconds. Okay, so this is one of the first name bosses that have been kind of leaked or shown off, and his name is Poacher Animagus, and so it's kind of cool to see the animations by him and just kind of see one of the first potential bosses. Now this one here, we do have some sort of weird mechanic where you're hitting a gargoyle statue bowl container thing, and it looks like a scroll comes out of it from lighting it on fire, and I wonder if this is something that you go around the map collecting. It brings out the scroll, but maybe this is a list for collecting all the gargoyles, and so then when it lighted on fire, it then updates the list. I've watched this a few times. The footage is odd and kind of weird as far as like how the flame and fire and scroll comes out, but it definitely is kind of unique. And then next up here, we just have some of the animations for some of the spellcasting. And then last up, I want to talk about this screen, which is a little bit different from where we've seen before. This is like an actual duel because there is a victory screen. Now, I do want to note that maybe this is just part of a quest line, and after you either knock the student out or whatever it is, maybe it's part of a quest, that is the victory screen or letting you know that you completed the quest. However, I wonder if this is a type of duel. Now, this doesn't look like an arena or any type of arena before. It does say defeat your opponent in the bottom left, but there's no sort of like arena looking place. So I wonder if you're just able to just duel any student or duel certain students throughout the day or even throughout the map. That would be kind of cool if it was just like a sort of mechanic that you can engage in with certain people, and you can kind of test how powerful you actually are. Now granted, duels could also just be limited to certain named NPCs, or even just in the duel tournaments themselves. This could just be a victory screen for either a quest line or something completely different. Now next up, we do have a confirmation for the wait mechanic, which is actually going to allow you to wait time, just kind of like in Skyrim or Cyberpunk. It's really familiar with a lot of games, being able to fast forward time. Again, it adds that extra layer of immersion to a game, which a lot of games usually don't care for, especially in this day and age, but it is nice to know that this game does. But I also want to talk about the factor of time dilation itself, because this could lead to time travel potentially, which again might not be necessarily a mechanic that's always present. It's going to be obviously really hard to do something like that, but this could be something in a quest or a quest line that allows some sort of time travel. It would just be kind of cool to see it in a game and see some sort of time travel stuff. It's usually not present in a lot of games, and the ones that do it don't really do it right. So overall, be kind of cool to see that mechanic in a game story-based mechanic way and just kind of see it play out, especially because it was used quite a bit in the Potter series. Now next up, unfortunately, we do have to talk about the pre-order exclusives here and other exclusives because they do pertain to certain mechanics. The first one being Felix Felici's potion, which is also known as Liquid Luck. Now this has been kind of leaked or come out exactly what it does, and that is that it essentially reveals chests on the map for one in-game day. So this seems like you're able to either buy more of them or create more of them using a bunch of recipe stuff. I do wonder how hard it is going to be able to craft this type of item. If this is something that's super easy, it's probably just something that you're able to go farm and maybe able to get all the materials for. And I'm sure once you're at a higher level or you're much more powerful, it will just be a breeze to get, especially seemingly since it has just a cooldown of 1 in-game day, and then it's probably able to be reapplied or rebought, obviously because it's a recipe and not just the potion itself. This does beg the question on how powerful that will be, especially if you're able to see everything on the minimap. Now, the minimap does look a little bit small and kind of zoomed in, so I wonder if it's going to be more kind of focused, and if you won't be able to just pull up a whole map of the area and kind of see everything. Maybe it's just kind of limited to your minimap, especially because it does say that in the description itself. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, next up, we do have to talk about the Dark Arts Battle Arena, because there are a few things that I do have a question or at least concern about. Because reading here, it does talk about some of the curses that can be used inside the arena. Now, will the curses and all that nature, will it be limited to the Dark Arts Battle Arena? Or will it just be some sort of practice area where you can practice these curses? That's probably more like it, and you probably won't be able to use those curses outside of the arena aside from a few missions or a few different open world instances. And it is just a typical wave-based gameplay. A lot of games have done this in the past where the wave-based stuff is all kind of pushed onto DLC exclusives. It is super unfortunate because it is just a nice additional mode to practice and have fun in, and I do hope that there's either some other sort of smaller arena or some sort of practice area, at least maybe not wave-based gameplay, but just like an arena where you can practice, or at least the duel tournaments are open quite often, or at least able to be done whenever, so that way you can have just as much spell practice with this stuff, because it does seem like a little bit overpowered if this is just the only thing that you can do to practice with your wand and all the stuff like that, especially those unforgivable curses and all the other curse stuff. It's like, I can't practice it outside, so that would be unfortunate if it's just limited to this arena. Which does beg the question, how limiting will the base version of this game be, and how much will you be missing out on all the content and all the side quests and all the things of that nature, especially with Dark Arts, if there's rewards in that type of aspect, if they give you certain cosmetic things from that, or even other things, which cosmetic wouldn't be a big ordeal per se, but other things like the Felix Felicius potion does kind of suck that we can't be able to use that on other platforms, even if you pay for the highest version. So there will be a lot of questions there as far as how limiting the mechanics will be for the base model, for the deluxe edition, and even for the deluxe edition on a pre-order bonus, that is the PlayStation. But that does about cover it for this video, and I hope I covered basically most mechanics that are going to be in Hogwarts Legacy, or at least that we know of so far. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and if not, whatever. Till the next one, deuces.